This first tip is gonna make your jaw drop because it's gonna literally cut down your editing time in half, and it's so easy to do. We all know that the most time-consuming part of editing is going through your talking head footage. If you've talked for over 30 minutes, it's gonna take you a minimum of 30 minutes to watch through all that footage again and cut through it. But what you can actually do to save a whole bunch of time is to re-watch through all that talking head footage in 2 times speed. By doing this, you're still gonna be able to hear what you've said, but you're gonna save half the time while editing through that footage. So how you do this is you open up your timeline, press the play button, and then click L once to get 1.5 times speed, or click it again to get 2 times speed, and voila, you've just saved so much time in the editing process. Another half tip to save a whole bunch of time is to look at the waveforms. I look at the waveforms to know when I'm talking and when I'm taking a break in between takes. And what I'll do is I'll try to find the last take of that specific line because I know 99% of the time the last take was the best one. So I quickly scroll through each take, find the last one, cut all the takes before that, and voila, I'm piecing together all my talking head shots in no time. Now you can take all that extra time saved and work on the more important things like storytelling and creating a cinematic masterpiece. Tip number 2 is cover your edits. If you're watching through your video and it's feeling a little bit choppy, it's most likely because you've had to piece together a whole bunch of takes. Now don't feel bad about this because we're all humans and we're gonna make a whole bunch of mistakes when we're talking to a camera, but we can fix that, no problem. So in order to make your audience feel like you're seamlessly just talking without any mistakes, you're gonna use 2 different techniques. The first technique is cropping in and out. So basically, whenever you're cutting through your talking head shots and whenever there's been a mistake, you're gonna crop in and then you're gonna crop out. And by doing this, it's just gonna reset your audience, making them feel like you're just continuously talking seamlessly without making any mistakes. The second technique that you can use is to add B-roll. So basically, whenever you made a mistake talking and you've had to piece together 2 clips, you can then just add some B-roll on top, which is gonna cover that mistake, and it's gonna make you feel like you're seamlessly just talking and just going back and forth between your talking head shots and the B-roll. Make sure you don't add just some really random B-roll. Use B-roll that's gonna help tell your story or make your point. Tip number 3 on how to make better videos is to add sound effects. If you're editing a talking head video, you wanna make your video as dynamic as possible by adding different kinds of motion graphics and titles. And in order to make those motion graphics and titles come alive, you wanna use sound effects. Because just look at the difference of motion graphics popping up with no sound effects. It's pretty flat and just doesn't feel like it fits the scene. Whereas then if you add motion graphics paired with sound effects, all of a sudden it feels more alive and feels like it's a part of the video. Whenever I'm adding text to my videos, I'm always adding like a keyboard sound effects, or for example, if I'm sharing the price of different texts, I might add a cash register sound. Really whatever sound effect that I think would match that graphic, I try to add into the video. The same goes for B-roll. Instead of just showing just the visuals, I'm always trying to find sound effects that would pair well with the visuals to make it really come alive and make it more dynamic. It's a totally different experience watching a cinematic sequence with no sound effects versus someone who's actually taken the time to add sound effects and do the sound design. I mean, just watch the cinematic sequence without sound effects. And now with sound effects. And it's literally night and day. There's a huge difference there. So make sure you take the time to add sound effects into your videos. Now there are a bunch of free websites out there offering sound effects, but if you really want the best of the best, the most high quality sound effects, I'd highly recommend checking out Artlist, which is the sponsor of this episode. Artlist is always going the extra mile to really create the most high quality assets for us creators to use. For example, just recently, Artlist paired up with 6 different Paralympic athletes to go live on location to film and record them competing to get the most high quality sound effects for us to use. Sound effects that would really bring out that authentic intensity in our videos. If you're interested in seeing the behind the scenes of this project between Artlist and the Paralympic athletes and be inspired just by their stories of determination, I'll make sure to link the blog post from Artlist in the description. And thanks again to Artlist for putting the blood, sweat, and tears into creating the best high quality creative toolkit for us to use. The music, the sound effects, the AI voiceover, the cinematic stock footage, each one of these tools helps us to become the best storytellers and creators out there. If you're not familiar with Artlist or you just haven't stepped over the line to take their annual subscription, click the link in my description and check out their creative toolkit and join Artlist. As well, by using my link, you actually get 2 months free when you take the annual subscription, which is gonna save you some dollars in the process. So don't miss out on that deal. Tip number 4 is changing the music. If you wanna make better YouTube videos that keeps the attention span of your audience till the end, just try changing up the music. Because whenever you change the song, it's gonna indicate to your audience that something just is about to end and something new is about to start. It's gonna immediately perk up your audience and help them focus to the end. So for example, in this sequence of me walking into the office, I can have one song playing in the background, but then when I enter in and start talking about a new topic, I can have a new song, which is gonna reset the audience's attention, knowing that something new is about to start. Keeping the audience retention to the end is what you want. Not to just please the algorithm gods, but because you want your audience to get the full value that you want to provide through your videos. If they only watch 1/3 of the video, they only get 1/3 of the value, whereas if they watch to the end, then they get the full value that your video is providing for them. So it's all about getting them to watch to the end so that they can benefit the most possible from your videos. Another technique similar to changing the music is to just stop the music. So for example, if you really want to emphasize a point, you just stop the music and let it be silent with your talking alone. Or if something happens that you really want to emphasize, like a dramatic moment, you can then just quickly drop the music and it's gonna catch the attention of your audience, be like, wait, what's happening? What just happened there? The last and final tip is pacing. Pacing is everything. A lot of times when you're the one editing your video, you can get a sentimental attachment to your footage, feeling like everything needs to be shown. But this can be the ultimate killer of the pacing of your video if you're just trying to show everything. If you want to help yourself make better videos, invite someone else into the room and watch the video with them. Not only are you gonna get feedback from your friend, but at the same time, you're also gonna be a lot more mindful of what the viewer's experience is like when they're watching your video. And most likely, all of a sudden, you're gonna be a lot more critical and aware to trim the fat from your video, which in the end is gonna help with your pacing and create a lot more engaging videos. So that's 5 easy tips for making better YouTube videos. By putting these tips into practice, not only are you gonna save yourself a whole bunch of time, but you're gonna make a lot more high quality and engaging videos for your channel. I'd love to hear which tip you liked best and how you plan to use it in your next video. We'll see you next week.